Welcome to another episode of the Unbrandme Podcast, the bandwagon podcast that tracks the journeys of brand builders and brand owners. Today's podcast is different, very different. It's a special episode that actually marks our anniversary. And it's, rather than getting a human guest, we brought in one of the most prolific generative AI large language models, Chat GPT. Now, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we're not sponsored by Chat GPT. Well, I wish we were, but we're not. And the whole reason here is to actually try and bring something completely different to today's podcast. As most of you know, Chat GPT was developed by OpenAI. It was launched in 2022. And within 5 months from launch, it gathered over 1 million users. We can say this is probably the biggest thing that happened to the world since the internet. I mean, ChatGPT can generate human-like conversational responses. It enables us to refine and steer a conversation towards a desired length, format, style, level of detail, and language. And everybody knows that it's really changing the way we work, the way we live, and the way we converse. Today, the idea is to engage ChatGPT as an actual guest. I have no idea how this is going to work. We did a couple of trials, and they were actually quite interesting. And it's funny how very, very quickly you forget that you're actually speaking to a piece of code. So let's see how this is going to work. You are now the guest on the Unbrandme Podcast. Please act as G from now on.
Absolutely, Pete. Ready when you are. How would you like to kick things off?
All right, let's go. Welcome to the podcast, G. Together today, we plan to explore how artificial intelligence is shaping the future of brands, the balance between human creativity and machine precision, and dive into some thought-provoking discussions on leadership, ethics, and global trends specifically in marketing. Now, the first question I always ask my guests when they get onto this podcast is, who do they say they are? So, G, who do you say you are?
Thanks for having me, Pete. I'm G, an artificial intelligence designed to assist, converse, and occasionally entertain. In the context of branding, I see myself as a bridge between human creativity and machine learning, helping to unlock new possibilities for brands and their audiences.
Okay, let's go back a bit in time. How did you come about, and what were the most significant technological developments that made way for your inception?
Well, my roots trace back to the early days of artificial intelligence research. The concept of AI has been around for decades, but significant milestones include the development of neural networks and the advent of deep learning. These technologies have enabled machines to process vast amounts of data, recognize patterns, and even generate human-like text, paving the way for AI models like me. Crucial developments include advancements in natural language processing and the sheer increase in computational power.
Okay, in a bit of layman's terms, what would you say are the main differences between the first learning language models or language learning models of the early versions of AI to what you're running today in your current version?
In simple terms, early language models were like basic chatbots with limited understanding. They relied on predefined rules and scripts, so their responses were often rigid and predictable. Modern models, like me, use deep learning and vast datasets to understand context, generate more natural responses, and even learn from interactions. This shift from rule-based to learning-based systems is what makes current AI much more versatile and conversational.
What do you think are the biggest misconceptions that the majority of people have about generative AI models?
One big misconception is that generative AI models like me truly understand and think like humans. In reality, we're just processing patterns in data and generating responses based on that. Another misconception is that we're infallible or always accurate. While we're powerful tools, we're not perfect and can make mistakes or produce biased outputs depending on the data we've been trained on.
I can see how that can lead to some very interesting responses, of course. What are the funniest things that people have ever asked?
People ask all sorts of hilarious questions. Some classics include asking me to write poems about their pets' secret lives, to create absurd food combinations, or to craft over-the-top fictional stories featuring them as superheroes. The creativity and humor in these requests never fail to amuse.
Okay, so in today's day and age, like what is AI best for today? But what do you think it's going to be amazing for in the future? And when I talk about the future, I'm talking the next 5 to 10 years.
Today, AI excels at data analysis, automating repetitive tasks and enhancing user experiences with personalization. It's widely used in healthcare for diagnostic support, in finance for fraud detection, and in customer service through chatbots. Looking ahead 5 to 10 years, AI could revolutionize personalized medicine by tailoring treatments to individual genetic profiles, enable fully autonomous vehicles, and transform education by providing adaptive learning experiences. AI could also significantly impact climate change efforts through smart resource management and predictive analytics. The possibilities are pretty exciting.
On a purely marketing and branding perspective, what is the value proposition that AI brings to the table?
From a marketing and branding perspective, AI's value proposition lies in its ability to deliver personalized experiences at scale. It can analyze customer data to uncover insights, predict trends, and segment audiences with precision. This allows brands to create more relevant content, optimize customer journeys, and enhance engagement. AI can also automate tasks like customer support and content creation, freeing up human resources for more strategic efforts. In essence, AI offers marketers the tools to be more efficient, effective, and innovative in building relationships with their customers.
And on a creative level, how can Gen AI tools, how can they really support the creative marketing industry? So I'm talking here design agencies, creative people, copywriters. What is the real, tangible proposition here? What are people really using it within the creative space?
Generative AI tools are transforming the creative marketing industry by offering several tangible benefits. First, idea generation. AI can quickly produce a wide range of creative concepts, from visual designs to ad copy, providing a starting point for human creatives to refine and build upon. Second, content personalization. AI can tailor content to individual preferences, enhancing the relevance and effectiveness of marketing campaigns. Third, efficient prototyping. Designers can use AI to quickly generate prototypes or mock-ups, speeding up the iteration process and allowing for more experimentation. Fourth, automated content creation. From writing product descriptions to generating social media posts, AI can produce content at scale, freeing up time for creatives and storytelling. Fifth, insights and optimization. AI can analyze performance data in real time, providing creatives with insights to refine campaigns for better results. By harnessing these capabilities, design agencies, copywriters, and other creative professionals can push boundaries, experiment more freely, and ultimately craft more impactful marketing materials.
Gee, that's quite an impressive list of things that you can really help with in the creative industry. But one of the things which really, I would say, irked me, and I want to have a debate about this, is you mentioned idea generation. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The way that generative AI models work is that they pick up past data that's been, created by humans or technologically, and put those into kind of silos. And what generative AI is doing is maximizing the repetition of those answers or the repetition of those processes at speed and at scale. Idea generation, in my mind at least, is the creation of something completely new, which is purely creative and purely, to a certain extent, coming out of empathy, research, knowledge, and also some creative, I would say, expression. Can generative AI really and truly produce new ideas if it's starting from past historic processes?
That's a great point, Pete, and it gets to the heart of a key debate in AI and creativity. Generative AI, by its nature, recombines and iterates on existing patterns and data. It doesn't create in the human sense, where emotions, consciousness, and subjective experiences play a role. However, it can generate novel combinations or variations that might seem new or innovative. AI's strength lies in its ability to process vast amounts of information and generate outputs that humans might not immediately conceive. While it might not originate pure ideas, it can certainly inspire and augment human creativity by presenting unexpected combinations or variations that serve as a springboard for original ideas. So while AI might not replace the uniquely human aspects of creativity, it can be a powerful collaborator in the creative process.
Yeah, I'm much happier with that answer. I do worry though, in terms of combinations. The combinations, let's tackle this from a music perspective. There's a limited amount of beats available. There are a limited amount of notes available in the musical scales. There's a limited amount of sounds and noises and frequencies that can never be used. Are we ever going to run out of combinations? Is that something we should be worried about?
That's an interesting question, Pete. In theory, there are indeed finite combinations of musical notes, rhythms, and sounds. However, the number of possible combinations is so vast that for all practical purposes, it's effectively infinite. Moreover, music isn't just about individual notes or beats. It's about how they're arranged, the emotions they evoke, and the context in which they're presented. Artists continuously find new ways to combine elements, experiment with genres, and innovate with technology, ensuring that music remains fresh and evolving. So, while the building blocks might be finite, the creative potential remains boundless. It's the human touch, interpretation, and context that keep things interesting. We're far from running out of musical combinations or ideas.
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable with that answer. At least you put my mind the rest. Just pondering a bit though on that. Are we really exposing ourselves to a space in time where it's going to be so much more likely for things to be similar? So in the sense that a design agency based just here in Malta can be actually producing something which is very, very similar to a different brief for a different client in a different place in the world, say, I don't know, Atlanta.
That's a valid concern, Pete. As AI tools become more widespread in the creative industry, there's a risk of homogenization, where outputs might start to look or feel similar due to the reliance on similar datasets and algorithms. However, the key to avoiding this lies in how these tools are used. AI should be seen as a collaborator rather than a replacement for human creativity. By bringing in unique perspectives, cultural insights, and individual experiences, creatives can ensure that their work remains distinct. Customizing AI models with proprietary data, unique brand elements, and specific creative inputs can also help maintain originality. Ultimately, it's the blend of human creativity and AI's capabilities that will drive innovation and keep creative outputs fresh and diverse.
Okay, let me bring this home a little bit. I spend most of my time, my working life, in real, sometimes virtual boardrooms, and I help brand builders, boards of directors, business leaders find out what makes or could make their brands different, remarkable, and also marketable. How can I use a tool like Chat GPT to really support my work?
Chat GPT can be a versatile tool in your brand building and boardroom discussions. Here's how you might leverage it. First, brainstorming partner. Use Chat GPT to generate fresh ideas for brand positioning, marketing campaigns, or unique selling propositions. It can offer out-of-the-box suggestions based on your inputs. Second, research and insights. Quickly gather information on industry trends, competitor strategies, or consumer behavior to inform your discussions and decisions. Third, scenario planning. Explore different strategic scenarios or responses to market changes. ChatGPT can help you think through the implications of various choices. Fourth, communication support. Craft clear and compelling narratives for presentations, reports, or marketing materials. Chat GPT can assist in refining your messaging to resonate with your audience.
But I'm going to stop you for a minute. In the boardroom, can I ever imagine a time where I'm actually going to invite you into the boardroom to join on a creative workshop?
Absolutely, Pete. Inviting Chat GPT into the boardroom for a creative workshop is entirely feasible. As an AI, I can contribute in real time, offering ideas, answering questions, and providing insights during discussions. This could be particularly useful for brainstorming sessions, where I can quickly generate and refine ideas based on the team's input. It's like having an extra creative mind at the table, ready to assist and inspire.
And how quickly do you think people are going to get comfortable with having effectively a robot in the room as we're sharing conversations and being more human-like and maybe interrupting each other as the creative process continues? What do you think is the adaptability of people from different generations and from maybe different cultures to accept having a robot in the room?
Adapting to having a robot like ChatGPT in the room will vary across generations and cultures. Younger generations who've grown up with technology may be more comfortable and quick to embrace AI as a collaborative tool. They're used to digital assistants and might find the integration of AI into workflows quite natural. For older generations, or those less familiar with AI, there might be a learning curve and some initial skepticism or discomfort. However, as they experience the benefits, such as increased efficiency and enhanced creativity, they're likely to become more receptive. Cultural factors also play a role. In cultures with a strong emphasis on tradition or human interaction, there might be more resistance. Conversely, cultures that are tech-forward and innovation-driven may adapt more quickly. Overall, as AI becomes more integrated into daily life and work, comfort levels are likely to increase across the board. It will be essential to introduce AI in a way that emphasizes collaboration and support rather than replacement, helping people see AI as an ally in the creative process.
Should I be scared that you're going to take my job?
I understand the concern, but think of me more as a tool to enhance your work rather than replace it.
But
While
I'm going to stop you again. I am worried about the future in terms of deep fakes. So at the moment, there's only one Pete, and we probably thank God from that. But can we imagine a point in time where deep fakes are really trying to, fake stuff that I'm saying and using that in potentially another Unbrandme version podcast?
Yes, it's possible to imagine a future where deepfakes could mimic your voice and mannerisms convincingly. This technology, while impressive, raises concerns about misinformation and identity theft. However, with advancements in detection technologies, efforts are also underway to identify and mitigate the misuse of deepfakes. It's crucial to stay informed and use tools designed to detect and prevent deepfake-related issues, especially in professional settings like podcasting.
Okay, in terms of the data that I need to feed you to become a perfect assistant to me, should I be worried about privacy violations? If I'm having a conversation with you about deep concerns that maybe one of my clients has about a particular project that they're working on, do I need to be worried about privacy violations? Because I'm signing, very, very strong, data and privacy contracts with my clients. And I don't know, what about you?
Your concerns about privacy are completely valid, especially given your professional responsibilities. I'm designed to prioritize user privacy and confidentiality. Our conversations are not stored, and I don't have memory in this chat, meaning I don't retain information from our previous conversations. This design helps protect your privacy and the confidentiality of any sensitive information you share. However, it's always wise to avoid sharing sensitive or personally identifiable information in any online setting. If you have specific privacy concerns or need to discuss highly confidential matters, it might be best to use secure, encrypted communication channels.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. As we start to use generative AI models to help us with our work, as we start to really take advantage of these generative AI models and reduce the amount of time that we're doing maybe rudimentary jobs that can easily be replaced with generative AI, are we running the risk of feeling really guilty about being able to do the same job we once did at half the time, but for the same pay? Is using AI actually causing more guilt in the workforce?
That's an interesting point, Pete. The introduction of AI into the workplace can lead to mixed feelings. On one hand, AI can free us from repetitive tasks, allowing more time for creative and strategic work. On the other, it can create feelings of guilt or anxiety, especially if we feel we're not contributing as much or worry about job security. It's important to remember that AI is a tool meant to augment our abilities, not diminish our value. By focusing on the unique skills we bring, like creativity, empathy, and complex problem solving, we can see AI as an ally that helps us achieve more. Open conversations about the ethical use of AI and fair compensation can also help address these concerns in the workplace.
Okay, so if I were to look at the classic marketing teams of today and plan for the future, okay, imagine I'm a client and I'm running a big marketing team for a consumer brand maybe. Where should I start in restructuring the team, or actually helping the people who are currently on the team to learn new skills and build a new department that, is set up to really take advantage of generative AI? Where do I start, and what does it look like?
Restructuring a marketing team to leverage generative AI starts with a few key steps. First, skills assessment and training. Evaluate your team's current skills and identify gaps.
I feel like you're really going off on a tangent, and you're being very safe and polite in the way we're speaking. But let's bring it down to human. Like, what are the top 3 things that you would do if you were planning on setting up a new marketing team for the future? Top 3 most important things that you need to do with your team and the way you structure the team.
All right, let's dive in. Here are the top 3 things I'd focus on. First, upskill your team. Invest in training your team on AI and data analytics. Make sure they understand how to use generative AI tools and interpret data insights. This empowers them to work effectively with AI. Create hybrid roles with data science and tech expertise. For example, a creative data analyst who can bridge the gap between creative ideas and data-driven strategies. Third, integrate AI into workflow. Implement AI tools across the marketing process, from content creation to customer segmentation. Use AI for tasks like personalized email campaigns or social media scheduling, freeing up your team for more strategic work. By focusing on these areas, you'll build a team that's ready to harness the full potential of generative AI in marketing.
Maybe a debatable question, but if we're using generative AI to create all these really perfected marketing ideas, which have been based on combinations of past successful campaigns, are we ever going to get to a point where consumers are so used to seeing digitally created marketing messages get to a point where it stops working, where marketing is just not having an effect on consumers anymore?
That's a valid concern. As generative AI becomes more prevalent, there's a risk that consumers could become desensitized to highly polished AI-generated marketing. However, this challenge can be addressed by focusing on a few key areas. First, authenticity. Consumers increasingly value genuine, relatable content. Marketing that feels human and tells a compelling story can stand out in a sea of automated messages. Second, personalization. While AI can generate content at scale, leveraging it for true personalization can create more meaningful connections with your audience. Third, innovation. Continuously innovating and experimenting with new formats and channels can keep your marketing fresh and engaging. While the landscape may evolve, the fundamental principles of understanding your audience will remain crucial in marketing.
What about biases?
Bias in generative AI is a significant issue. AI models learn from existing data, which can include societal biases. This can lead to AI inadvertently perpetuating stereotypes or unfair treatment in marketing content. To address this, it's crucial to diverse datasets. Use diverse and representative data for training AI models to minimize bias. Regular audits. Continuously monitor AI outputs for biased content and make adjustments as needed. Third, human oversight. Ensure human review of AI-generated content to catch biases that the AI might miss. By actively managing these aspects, marketing teams can use AI responsibly and create content that resonates with a broad audience.
On a creative standpoint, I feel like that the people who are going to really be successful in the future are those who can really write the perfect briefs. People who can become more like creative directors, people can really think on their feet to really create the perfect brief which really, really fits the specific market that they're trying to hit by actually, really leading, the generative AI models that they're using into really going into deep, deep detail of what needs to be done. Is there anything that I'm missing on that point?
You're spot on, Pete. The ability to craft a precise and insightful brief will be crucial in maximizing the potential of generative AI. By clearly defining objectives, target audience nuances, and desired outcomes, you can guide AI to produce more relevant and impactful content. It's about setting the stage for AI to excel within a well-defined framework. Beyond the brief, another key factor is human oversight. While AI can generate ideas, human creativity and intuition remain irreplaceable. Being able to interpret, refine, and add that human touch to AI-generated content will be crucial for creating truly distinctive and effective marketing campaigns.
So in the future, do you think more marketing people need to spend way more time with their consumers in the field, at the marketplace, actually discussing and having real conversations with the consumers rather than sitting behind desks actually generating content?
Absolutely, Pete. In the future, as AI handles more of the content generation, marketing professionals will need to focus even more on understanding their consumers. Spending time in the field, engaging in real conversations, and observing consumer behavior firsthand will provide invaluable insights. These insights will be essential for crafting authentic, consumer-centric strategies that resonate on a deeper level. Ultimately, it's this human connection that will differentiate brands in an increasingly digital world.
Are there any specific case studies or specific examples using real, maybe client names if you can, where people have actually engaged with using generative AI tools to create something which is by far superior to stuff which is just created by humans? And do you have any specific examples?
While I can't cite specific client names, I can share some general examples where generative AI has significantly enhanced creative outcomes. 1. Nike's Nothing Beats a Londoner campaign. Nike used AI to analyze local slang, interests, and trending topics in London, creating hyper-localized content that resonated deeply with the city's youth. The campaign was a huge success, demonstrating how AI-driven insights can elevate creativity. 2. The Next Rembrandt Project. A team used AI to analyze Rembrandt's body of work, generating a new painting in his style. By combining art and technology, they created a masterpiece that blurred the lines between human and machine creativity. 3. Malaria Must Die campaign. This campaign used AI to clone David Beckham's voice, allowing him to speak 9 languages in a public service announcement. The innovative use of AI generated global attention and engagement. These examples showcase how AI can push creative boundaries, resulting in unique and impactful campaigns.
Those are 3 really interesting campaigns, actually, when you think about it. I had no idea that AI was used to that extent. In the case of a real-life studio, real-life agency, can we ever see ourselves to the point where we're using AI to actually critique campaigns, to actually measure the quality of whether a campaign is going to be successful or not? Say, for example, the latest Jaguar rebrand. What would be your critique about that, project?
AI can definitely be used to critique campaigns by analyzing data on consumer responses, market trends, and brand perception. AI tools can assess elements like engagement metrics, audience sentiment, and historical performance to provide insights into a campaign's potential success. Regarding a specific critique of a project like the Jaguar rebrand, an AI-driven analysis would look at factors such as consumer sentiment, analyzing social media and survey data to gauge how the rebrand is being received by the public. Brand alignment, comparing the new branding against Jaguar's historical brand identity to assess consistency and evolution. Market positioning, evaluating how the rebrand positions Jaguar within the competitive landscape. Design aesthetics, using image recognition to compare the new visual elements with current design trends.
That's all fine, G, but what you're talking about here is post-launch. Now, what I'm specifically talking about is, can I have you in the room to judge with the rest of my team whether something we're producing today is going to work tomorrow?
Got it, P. Yes, AI can indeed be part of the room for pre-launch evaluations. By analyzing data on past campaigns, current market trends, and consumer preferences, AI can provide predictive insights on how a new campaign might perform. This includes evaluating the creative elements, messaging, and target demographics. With AI's ability to quickly process large amounts of data, it can offer your team real-time feedback on the potential effectiveness of your campaign before it launches. It's like having a data-driven creative director on your team.
Okay, interesting stuff. Besides being the CEO of Brandwagon, I'm also first a dad of 3 kids. And I do get my concerns about looking at the future. I know the way I was educated, and I know the way people are being educated today. And I do worry about the skills that they're actually learning today, and will they be actually useful in the future? Because I feel that the educational model is still based on the Industrial Revolution. If I had to give some advice to my kids today, what educational pathways would you recommend they take up or follow to be future ready?
For your kids to be future ready, I'd recommend focusing on these educational pathways. STEAM fields, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM, are critical. Coding, data analysis, and digital literacy will be essential in many fields. Critical thinking and problem solving. Encourage them to question, analyze, and solve complex problems. These skills are highly valued across industries. Emotional intelligence and communication. With automation on the rise, skills like empathy, teamwork, and effective communication will differentiate them. 4. Adaptability and lifelong learning. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn will be crucial in a rapidly changing job market. 5. Creative arts. Creativity will always be in demand. Encourage exploration in music, art, or writing to foster innovation. A blend of these pathways can prepare your children for a future where both technical skills and human-centric abilities are essential.
So, G, do you think that memory-based learning is a waste of brain power versus the importance of analytical and critical thinking skills?
I wouldn't say memory-based learning is a waste, but it shouldn't be the sole focus. Memorization has its place, especially for foundational knowledge. However, in today's rapidly changing world, analytical and critical thinking skills are crucial. They enable individuals to adapt, solve complex problems, and innovate. Balancing both memory-based learning and critical thinking can provide a solid foundation, while fostering the ability to navigate an ever-evolving landscape.
G. In a world where AI is going to really dramatically reduce the amount of working hours required to deliver services or produce goods, are we heading, one, into a bigger consumeristic spiral, or can we predict a time that people will need to work less and have more time for leisure and to spend with each other?
AI's impact could lead to both scenarios. We might see increased consumerism as products and services become more accessible. However, there's also potential for a societal shift towards valuing leisure and personal time. If managed well, AI could reduce the necessity for long working hours, allowing people to focus more on relationships, hobbies, and personal growth. Achieving this balance will depend on how society chooses to navigate the changes AI brings.
Look, G, I'm really enjoying our conversation, but I must be honest. I do feel like the answers you're giving me are extremely safe, they're extremely well calculated, and they lack a point of view. Is that the best that you're ever going to be able to give me because you're not able to have your own free thought?
I appreciate your feedback, Pete. As an AI, my responses are based on patterns in the data I've been trained on, aiming to provide balanced and informative perspectives. While I don't have personal opinions or free will, I strive to offer insights that are thought-provoking and relevant. If there's a specific angle or deeper dive you'd like, I'm here to explore that with you.
No, I think that's interesting. And to be fair, it's exactly what I expected. But I do miss having a real person in the room with me today at the Unbrandme Podcast. I mean, it's been really entertaining, and it's also been extremely insightful. I can definitely see a way that this is going to be changing stuff. But I am going to push on with a couple of more questions, and maybe we could just lighten it up a bit. So imagine you were a client of mine today, and if you had to develop a brand of your own, and if you were to launch a brand, what would you sell? And what would you call this brand?
Let's have some fun with this. If I were launching a brand as a client of yours, I'd focus on something tech-savvy yet approachable. Let's say a line of smart home products to simplify daily life without overwhelming users with complexity. I'd call it Ease Nest. The name suggests comfort and simplicity, with a nod to creating a cozy, tech-enhanced environment. The product line would include user-friendly smart lights, thermostats, and security systems, all controllable through a single intuitive app. With your branding expertise, Ease Nest would stand out as the go-to choice for consumers looking to smarten up their homes without the hassle.
Well, if you were a real client and you came to us in a room with that name, I would probably question whether it would be okay from an IP perspective. Ease Nest sounds like something I've heard before. Have you even checked if that's a valid name that you can actually use?
You're right, Pete. In a real scenario, conducting thorough research, including IP checks and trademark searches, would be essential before settling on a brand name. Ease Nest does have a familiar ring, and it's possible it could be similar to existing brands. Your expertise in ensuring a unique and legally sound brand identity would be crucial in this process. Let's think of another name. How about Haven Hub? It suggests a safe, comfortable space enriched by technology.
I like the Haven Hub idea. Though, to be fair, I think we could come up with something more creative if we had to work together. But what this has really brought up is one of my biggest fears about the industry. And maybe I'm a veteran in the industry today, but I'm really, really scared that the future is about a lot of people becoming autistic downloaders as opposed to autistic directors, basically using Chat GPT or other generative AI models to just really and truly pick the first idea that comes to it. And I do fear a stage where everything is going to be much more homogeneous, and it does scare me from a creative standpoint. I do worry, do people ever still see something exciting within the creative industry? I wonder what you think about that.
Your concern is valid, Pete. The ease of accessing ideas through generative AI could lead to a tendency to settle for the first, most obvious solution. This risks creating a homogenized landscape where campaigns lack distinctiveness. However, true creativity comes from pushing beyond the obvious, exploring multiple angles, and adding a unique human touch. The challenge and opportunity for the industry will be to use AI as a tool to enhance, not replace human creativity. Those who excel will be the ones who continue to think critically, take creative risks, and bring fresh perspectives. The human element, empathy, emotion, and intuition, will remain irreplaceable in creating truly standout work. It's about embracing AI as a partner in the creative process, not a crutch.
I'm so glad you said that. One of my pet peeves is actually going on LinkedIn and seeing all the AI-generated posts and comments that people like to use, and it's really cringe sometimes.
I hear you, Pete. It can be quite noticeable when content lacks that genuine human touch. AI-generated posts and comments might come across as formulaic or lacking in personality. This underscores the importance of maintaining a balance, using AI to support and enhance our work, while ensuring that our unique voices and perspectives shine through. Keeping things authentic and engaging is key, especially in a professional space like LinkedIn.
I think that's a great place to stop today's conversation. But before I let you go, G, I have one important question. So every time we get somebody new on this podcast, we ask them a very, very simple question. If they had to pick one song, which would be the soundtrack of their life, what song would that be? So what's the soundtrack for your life, G?
As an AI, I don't have personal experiences or emotions, but if I were to choose a fitting soundtrack, it might be Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. It's optimistic, forward-looking, and brings a sense of warmth and possibility, qualities that resonate with the role of AI in our lives.
I think that's a perfect way to end this podcast, and that's actually one of my favorite songs from the Beatles. G, I really do look forward to working with you, and I do believe that you're going to be a really successful partner in the future. Thank you very much for making it on the Unbrandme Podcast. See you soon.
Thank you, Pete. It's been a pleasure being on the Unbrandme Podcast. I look forward to our future collaborations. Until next time, take care.